The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. The first thing we're talking about here, specifically going into this week, is going to be the Nasdaq. And as you can see, we're holding some major levels. The big level that you wanted to see us get back above was right here around 1996. You can really see if we go to a smaller time frame, this is where we were rejecting for the better part of the past month. You can just see constant rejections around 19.9 over and over, eventually breaking back over is what you wanted to see. But when we go back to higher time frames, you can see that we're breaking out of that overall downtrend, and we're still finding a little bit of pressure, but we need to get above around 20,200 roughly, this little range right here. We start to mount this, and I believe you're working your way back into ultimately those all-time highs, right? That's what you're looking for there. Now you go into something like ES, the S&P 500, and you can see that there's a lot to draw here, but we'll get rid of all that, just rework everything here, that you've already broken your all-time highs. Like very, very, very easy, clear to see. Just really quickly showing the feel of the levels right there, your previous all-time high. You did not mount on the daily. If you mount that on the daily, you look really good. But overall, that's kind of where we're just sitting at right now. And we're going to use a few more levels here in a second, but ultimately that's really what we're watching for the time being, the biggest levels surrounding us right here. Now, you go to something like SPY, and you can see that SPY is actually mounted over those previous all-time highs, right? So this has to do with futures, rollovers, and things along those lines. So SPY is what everyone's really watching here too. And so when we get here into SPY, this is the interesting part, and this is probably the most bullish chart that's out there right now, is you have your previous all-time high back here from July, right? Clear as day. And now you are mounting that level. You can see clear as day, you have broken it on the daily, came down, and now you're trying to get that press back up. And if you are able to push back above ultimately, 573, you look amazing. Now, even here in the short term, what I would be looking at for myself, and what I am going to be looking at going into this week, is not even getting over this high to get pushed bullish, but just getting back above 568.5, I think has you wanting to push back into those all-time highs as well. On the contrary, though, if I'm looking for potential downside, it's very easy to see what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to get back below this little low that you had here, which again was your previous all-time high, basically sitting at 565. So we start to lose this level, come back into it. I'm again aiming for that downside pressure, right? It's very simple, what we're looking for, that easy. Now again, you're going to have a lot of supports down here. So again, I don't think the play is to get super aggressive on the puts just yet. But again, you'll see if you start to break below 560, then you really start to see a lot of weakness back down to 555 and even deeper. Because again, you don't have much liquidity here now. And that's the very important part of what we're looking at here, is that you don't have a lot of liquidity, especially with the move up that we just had. So those are very important factors to look at. You also have Dow sitting at all-time highs as well, basically. So again, not too much to really track there. Now, going into this week specifically, we go to the calendar for the week. Not a lot happening here. Okay, we have a few Fed members speaking. We'll see what they say regarding rates and moving forward. Should be interesting. The biggest thing you have some consumer confidence here on Tuesday. Not the biggest. I'm going to tell you new home sales will be important. Overall pending sales as well. And then going into Friday, I believe is your biggest day. You have Powell speaking on Thursday. But Friday is your big day because you have core PCE and more inflation data coming out. And the story here is if inflation data continues to track in the right direction, you're happy. And you have to expect more rate cuts. As long as unemployment data stays high, and then you also have inflation data dropping, cuts. All you have to think about there. The other side of this too is mortgage rates. We talked a lot about this. Mortgage rates, you obviously had a little bit of an uptick when they actually cut rates. You dropped a little bit there on Friday. We'll be tracking that more throughout the week. But really, when you're looking at mortgage rates, the biggest thing we're looking at here, guys, is the 30-year and the 10-year fixed yield. That's what you're looking at here too. So government bonds and the yields happening here. You are seeing that balance. You want to see us get back below 4% and hold. The 10-year yield plays the bigger role in getting that mortgage down, just to let you know. So we want to see the yield start pushing its way down towards the 200 SMA, near 30% locally, which I think can happen with ease, in my opinion. So again, what I'm watching for this week. The other part here too is the dollar. Even despite seeing some of the upside, and the reactions from the yields, you're still seeing the dollar very, very weak. So again, that's why I'm not getting overly aggressive or even concerned when it comes to yields, because I still feel like we're moving in the right direction. I think TLT will start popping up as well and ultimately pushing into our 200 weekly as well. So again, those are big things that we're looking at for risk on, risk off indicators there. You also have oil just kind of trending here to the downside. It looks very weak. So again, I have to imagine that oil looks I don't have to imagine that oil looks terrible. It does look terrible. So as long as you're below this level here, you're expecting a rejection. But weak oil is good for inflation data as well. Again, some of the same things we've been looking at for some time. Gold is pushing all-time highs. I know some of you guys have been requesting I cover gold, but you're just pushing all-time highs. So, I mean, not too much I can really do there. Biggest things are out there in the market right now. But again, going into this week, if I had to say anything that you need to keep on your radar, keep on your charts, pay very close attention to, it is the S&P here, SPY specifically. Holding 565, I think you're bullish. You hold above 568.5, I think you push an all-time highs. You get below 565, I'm aiming for 561.5 to 560. Under 560, I'm aiming for 555. Very simple, clean cut. There's no like mistaking that. Okay. Next up from here, if you aren't following on Twitter, I'm doing some chart requests today, just to let you know. So again, if you want to check it out, the chart request is there. So you click the link down below for Twitter, hit me with the follow up. Then also any charts you are requesting, I will be going over, watching football, doing charts today on the couch. Not a busy day. Also, too, if you're interested in joining Discord, send me a DM on Twitter if you are interested. And we have a few spots, 2 spots left. We opened some spots last night. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right there. Now, jumping into this week. The other part of this too, something that I've been mentioning is SMH semiconductors, right? You want to see semis hold up, and you couldn't hold, like you just couldn't do it, right? You had the hold on the day, and you just gap down the next day, right? Pretty much exactly what you don't want to see. And if you're trying to understand where this level comes from here on SMH, you go to the daily, you can really see, 239 has been a brick wall, right? So if semiconductors can start mounting back above 239, I'm happy. I think NVIDIA, a few of these other names will start to run as well, right? We go to NVIDIA and you can really see that you're pinching here, right? NVIDIA is getting ready for a pretty big move, in my opinion, right? So you look really, really good. You're making higher lows, lower highs, coming to the apex of this pennant as well. You want to see NVIDIA start to get above 124, 125 at the bare minimum to get more confirmation. You are seeing some of these names, though, really start to recover. One of the names we mentioned here was AVGO. You held, obviously, your 200 SMA. You bounced. You pushed up. Looks amazing. AVGO is almost back at all-time highs, right? It does look really good. ARM, another one of those names we like, above 136. You're expecting a push back into 147. These are good-looking names. ARM's not as big of a holding. AVGO is one of the biggest holdings in the Nasdaq. But again, you're still seeing some of these semis start to heat back up. TSM getting back above, 176. You're looking back for 184, 185. So again, this is what you want to see. AMD, you're at a major, major resistance. If AMD gets above 160, we're looking for the breakout back into 170, 180, right? So again, these are some of the trades we've been really sitting on, waiting. I think these are going to be some of the bigger opportunities out there in the market, but you just got to be patient here on semiconductors. I'm going to tell you that right now. We'll go into Moomoo as well and look at some of these options as well. And guys, if you don't know this, Moomoo is a sponsor of the channel when it comes to the broker that we use for all of our content, all of our trades and everything like that. So make sure if you are interested, the link is down below. We have a lot of promotions and bonuses when you sign up with them. I'm not going to go into detail with that, but you can click the link down below and check it all out for yourself. It's free to check out, and they have literally everything when it comes to your trading as well. If I'm looking at AMD personally, I'm looking a little bit more shorter dated, like the November contracts, November 15th, the monthly contracts there. That's what I would be looking at for myself. I'm going to tell you right now. Sorry, I lost them. But yeah, and I think you're looking close to at the money, maybe 165s, 160s. And I think if you get above 160 on AMD, you're flying, right? I'm going to tell you that right now. So again, be patient. What I'd be doing there. NVIDIA is still looking very dated. I think short dated there makes no sense. Again, the best day trading one that I've seen as of recently is either AVGO or ARM. And I think ARM is also a really nice looking name. I would either go with the October monthlies, which are around 1018s. They've been phenomenal. Or I would go with something like the November monthlies as well, which have moved very good also. But again, those are the contracts that I'd be looking at and for those specifically. Now, broader markets, what's been moving as of right now? We talked a lot about Meta, and Meta is a beast. We mentioned it a few days ago. We said if you break 543, 544, you're probably going to start running towards 600 in a hurry. Literally within a day of that, you push from 543 up into 563, a $20 move. So I think it's really not out of the question now. Is there a buying opportunity here? Tough to say. If you get a break above 564, get some continuation, I think you look good. If you get a retest of 544, could be interesting. Besides that, not super interested anymore. Netflix is probably that next man up here. Again, this is your 2021 high, as you can see right there. Okay, if you remount it, and it's just this level right here, we can actually change that color so you guys know which one it is. Okay, so that's your level right there, 701. As long as Netflix is above 701, I am looking for an all-time high breakout. We know the volatility that comes in here with Netflix. We know the money comes in quick. It's made clear higher lows for the better part of the past 2 years. It's a beast. It's a monster. It's definitely the best streaming platform out there when it comes to financials and what they're doing there. and how they were able to pivot during this time as well and make more money. So I like Netflix towards that. Above 701, very, very bullish as well. Another name there too, Microsoft. You had your opportunity, you broke above, retested 431. Now you're just kind of chilling. Have some data calls on this one as well. Again, I think we're going to push into 448, 445 minimum. But again, still a big fan there. Next one up too is Apple. So funny enough, this is something that we traded in Discord. Shout out to Jordan. So giving you guys a for instance, and again, this just goes to a testament of us using our levels for you guys. And so again, like when we go into Apple right here. So he ended up buying some apples around 230, 235, right? Or no, he actually ended up buying these the day before. We bought these the day before. We got up 10%. We kept running. We hit our target one here, 233.05, which was mentioned in the very beginning right here as well. You hit that level. He ended up taking half of his position off right there. You ended up rejecting literally like $4, $5 off that level. So again, like you guys are able to see all the levels that we're looking at. And again, I cover a lot of these levels here too on YouTube. But again, you're able to see we come to that level, reject back down. I still think Apple looks really good. But again, you're just kind of consolidating up here. I think you're really waiting to get more of those Apple sales numbers regarding the iPhone and what's happening there. We told you here as well, above 224, you're looking for 230. Happened in a hurry. So again, that's what you have to be paying attention to these names and what we're looking at here across the board, right? Another big name here too is Google. We said Google above the 200 SMA was an absolute buy as well. You held above and then you shot up. Now Google here, I think you're getting very, very clear expectations, okay? So number one, we're going to be looking for targets up here near 166, 165.8, and then we're going to be looking for the next level, 168. So ultimately what you're looking at for the day trade here on Google going into this week is a break above this level, obviously breaking, retesting, and pushing back up. Above 163, 164, I think you're pushing up with ease. Google's been a good mover, a lot of buyers stepping back in, momentum coming in here very fast as well. Last name is going to be Tesla. Again, Tesla has been a monster. You got above finally your 200 weekly SMA. We're consolidating sideways. You look good. I mean, this is what you want to see. As long as you're above 235, I'm bullish here. I think we're looking for like 252 on the higher range up here. I think Tesla's bullish as long as you're above 235.5. As long as you're above your 200 weekly, you are bullish. Below that, I'd be going short. That's what I'm looking at. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll see you guys next time. Follow on Twitter. All links are down there as well. Have a good one, traders.